I know Brandon should be home soon, but we can kind of start to ease our way in. Does everybody remember where we were last session?
Yeah, we just got into the Elven Temple,
Yeah.
right? Or
Well, the two of us did, yeah.
Yeah, and then you guys had went back at the end of last session. You guys had went back for the rest of the party to bring them back and to bring Althea back to be treated. Okay, so that's where we will rejoin the party. I'll say it has been a couple of days, probably 2 days since the events of last session. You have gotten when you returned from the temple. You found that most of the elves, the wood elves that were not part of the crew, that had not decided to join part of the crew, have fled into the woods. They kind of just took it upon themselves as you guys were shipwrecked and things, and they just kind of took it upon themselves to flee into the woods.
Okay, so how many do we have for the Jimi Hendrix then?
The 10 that decided to stay behind.
Okay.
So there's 10 wood elf Jimmies on the Jimi Hendrix, along one of those being the new first mate, and then of course you have the captain making 11 crewing the Jimi Hendrix. So most like Molly and Althea are at the temple, but Jaren, is still kind of heading the overseeing the work that is still going on of the ships. And there's still repairs being made, and Grandmaster Karak has, as promised, offered some help from some of his monks in making repairs as well. So that kind of project is going on. Who would everybody be at the temple? Where would people do you think your characters would be?
I would be on my ship, overseeing the repairs there and making sure that nobody's messing up my Bentley.
You're right.
I'm gonna guess that I would be kind of go between, since I'm one of the only ones that speaks Elvish. I just make sure and stay going back and forth between everybody, moving everything.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think I would probably be at the temple, kind of communing with the elves, getting a better lay of the land, filling in some more smaller details of the map and that kind of thing.
Okay. Absolutely. And then Aruk.
I guess I would be, I don't know, hitting up the half-orc chick that we picked up.
Yes, sir.
Shacking up.
Yeah. I don't know what else Rook would be doing. There's no like training or anything. If there's any like help building anything on this island, I mean, I guess sure.
Yeah, so I'll say that Aruk has been spending the last couple of days between Shatha's chambers and helping during the day with the ship repairs, which are coming along pretty nicely. You expect that within a few more days the ships will be ready to sail again. So with the captain on board the Chimichanga and helping along with repairs as well as overseeing things, making sure things are done to his standards. And Venkin kind of going between and kind of helping out along that. I will go to Perry in the temple. Perry, I would say that's probably what you've spent most of your time doing, trusting your other compatriots to handle the repairs on the ship. Well, you've been trying to, like you said, get a better lay of the land and a better understanding of this area geographically. And this time you've learned a couple of things. You have learned the name of this temple. Okay. This temple is called Chichen Itza. the look. You can blame Eric for that.
Yes.
So it's called Chichen Itza. And you have discovered that it is an ancient. It is an ancient temple. No one knows who the original builders were of this temple, but a couple of thousand years ago, the wood elves, when they moved into this area, took over it. And have since dedicated it to some of their elder gods, as well as incorporating some things for some of the gods that they've encountered of others since they've been here. You have, during your studies of the map, hold on, let me pull it up really quick here for reference. Come on, load, big boy. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. Hold on one second here.
Let's go.
All right. So if I zoom in down here, in studying this, in studying this map and kind of getting some ideas, you are informed that this is not the only elven kingdom in the area. It is the largest and most powerful, but there is another elven kingdom across the Gulf of Lurien. And it's much smaller, but it is essentially, consider them this, like, they're kind of arch enemies with this particular kingdom, so to speak. They're antagonistic to this kingdom. And you also have learned that there are several several wood elf tribes within this forest. Within this forest that you guys are currently in, as well as another one further inland, the Amtar Forest. There are also more elven tribes there on the other side of the Knoll Watch Mountains. But that is all of you have learned thus far.
Okay. So when you say that there's a rival tribe, are we looking more in like the Sharawood area or more south?
Hold on one moment. So more south.
That
So
little
you're looking at,
peninsula that's
yeah.
sticking off there. Okay.
Yeah, so right there, basically directly across the bay from where you're at, where there's a town there that's called Thruldar. Yes, that wood there. A couple of those towns are, as well as there are actually, I would say yes, that there's probably another even smaller group of elves in the Shara Wood as well.
Okay. So, am I communing with Karik, or is there like a specific cartographer type?
I would imagine you've actually probably been speaking directly with Karik ever since which, by the way, another thing too, is Althea finally woke up today.
Okay.
So I imagine that you've been spending some time, kind of, conversing with them, trying to get a little bit of, get a little bit more information. I imagine that you've been speaking directly with Karik for most of your information.
Okay. So I want to pull these letters that we have from the ruins.
Oh,
of
yes.
Captain Bartholomew's tomb.
Ah, yes.
I want to pull those letters out. I know they're written in Thieves' Cant, so I'm not sure if Karik can read Thieves' Cant or not. But I want to show them to him and see if he knows anything of the contents.
Yeah, absolutely. So you pass the letters over, and he looks at you and he says, well, I can't exactly read Thieves' Cant, but I can pick out bits of it. And he's kind of looking over. He spends a few minutes going over each one, and he says, after it's all done, he kind of looks up at you and says, "Did you recover the skull?"
say we do have a skull with a blue gem inlaid.
Yeah. He's like, he says to you, he's pondering what you've said, and he asks, what do you know of these skulls, and what do you know of all of this?
Well, I know of the Amari and the Amaru. We know the two groups or tribes or whatever they are struggling against one another to prevent some kind of event from happening. And I have a suspicion that this mark that I have on my map here, which is where we're headed, actually, is where this event is going to take place.
And after, do you point out on the map where you're talking about?
Yeah.
He says, who among your group know of this?
Captain Zezel knows, as he had to translate Thieves' Cant over to Common for me. He knows. I think the rest of the party knows, but beyond that, I don't think anybody knows the full details of what we're up to.
He kind of steeples his fingers and says, then I think it's time you gather your compatriots. I may be able to fill in some blanks for you.
Okay.
And he says, give me some time to prepare, and let's say we meet back here at sundown.
Should I bring Molly?
Yes, unfortunately, it seems that she is wrapped up quite deeply in this as well, from what she's told me. Yes, I believe that everyone that you feel needs to know should be in attendance.
Okay. Cool. Then
So
I will make haste back to the ships and get everybody that I feel needs to be there. The party, Molly, Althea.
gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. So you make you spend some time trekking back out to the shore, where you find the crew doing various different things. Maybe Venkin is trying to settle a dispute between a feisty elf and somebody, and then you've got the captain up there. You're good.
Thing looks like a mini nuke, Nick.
Huh?
Your canteen looks like a mini nuke, man. Should have little boy written on it or something.
Yeah. It's like when I open it,
While
like it was gonna pull out like a core.
Yeah.
Glowing core. Okay. So yeah, you see Captain Zezel up on the deck shouting at someone, telling them they're doing a half-assed job. Yeah, so you go about informing the party that at sundown, there's a meeting in the temple that Karak has some information for all of you. You have a few hours before this takes place. Is there anything anybody would like to do in that meantime while you're waiting for this? Anything specific, particular, while you're waiting or preparing? Is there anything in particular that you would like to grab from the ship? Anything of that nature?
No, I do. I want to look at these scrolls again that we got from the tomb. I know they had like a sigil or some kind of signature in them written in Infernal. Now that I've studied Infernal, am I able to determine what that means?
So with your recent practicings of Infernal, yes, so the seal itself, you're able to read the signature, and the signature basically is like an amalgamation of two names. It is Teodalma and Amari. And those two names have been amalgamized together to create this signature. But you're able to kind of parcel that out. It's the way the script is kind of fancily written. It would be difficult. It was a difficult thing, but you're able to kind of pick out all of the different characters and be able to piece it together to realize that it is essentially you get the impression that it is the official seal of this entity, this person.
Okay.
So, you guys, if there's nothing else in particular that you guys would like to do, then I'll say that after you guys finish up buttoning up the things that you were doing on the ship and around, you make your way back to Chichen Itza. Just as the sun is setting, you guys are making your way to the very top of the stairs of the pyramid and entering once again into the Grand Master Sanctuary. You walk in and see that seated, there are places all around there, kind of cushions that are placed all around this central kind of like fire pit style area within the temple. And you see Grandmaster Karik, Althea, and Molly already sitting there waiting on you when you guys arrive. And you enter. I imagine all of you take a seat.
Yeah.
Okay, so the party enters and takes a seat. At this point is when Karik begins to speak and says, "It seems that you all have stumbled into the middle of a struggle that has been going on since before any of us were born. The struggle between these two bloodlines, so to speak, has been dormant for quite a while and is only recently began to once again heat up. First, I believe it's important to tell you what's ultimately at stake, and then allow you to ask questions, and I can fill in blanks from there. But the truth is that you have more information than you think. You were very close to ultimately the whole picture, but what you're missing is the relevance of the skulls and ultimately what they are trying to unleash. The skulls are the skulls are important in the sense that they are the skulls of the 9 who sealed this creature away originally. They were a coalition of Amaru as well as outsiders who came together in the world's hour of need and sacrificed themselves in order to seal this creature away. In order to unseal this creature, you must collect all of the gems that are embedded within the skulls of all of these people. And that's what we believe the Amari are attempting to do. We have reason to believe that they already have several skulls. And at this point, Altheus kind of interjects and says, the beast he speaks of has many names, but the one that is the most common to it is called the Leviathan. It is an ancient and powerful being. Perry, you immediately at the utterance of this name feel just an absolute chill go down your spine as the knowledge of your people, of this ancient primordial being, is that it is one of the most powerful things to have ever been on Earth. And though you only have legends of it, they are all terrifying and horrific in nature. And she says that if this beast is freed, not only is the entire world in danger, but the oceans will be destroyed. She looks at those of you who are of aquatic races and says all of your people will likely die. And this is why they must be stopped. And at this point, Karak resumes and says, as I was saying, we believe that they have several of the skulls already. We aren't certain where they are storing them, but we suspected that they were in Kathir, though we're not certain. This is when, once again, Althea pipes up and says, I believe that members of my own family have been... I'm not sure exactly whether they were possessed or bought off, or I'm not certain what sway or power the Amari hold over members of my family, particularly the Emperor himself. But I suspect that they play some part in this as well. Which is what I was doing when I was ultimately captured and restrained, was trying to come to the truth of what was going on. Because, and she kind of looks down with a hint of almost shame and says, my people weren't always like this. Slavers and horrifying, evil, disgusting creatures. We weren't always this way. And she says, all we know is that we must collect as many of the skulls as we can before they do, and even if possible, try to get the ones they have from them. And I don't know if we can destroy them, but we must at least lock them away.
Can I lean into Captain Zezel and ask him a question?
Yes.
So I'm gonna lean into Captain Zezel and be like, hey, is this why you've been collecting so many gems? Or you can like kill them and like look at their skulls?
It's a distraction, man. They got the wrong gem.
Fuck. So what you're telling me is I need to find different gems.
Gems need gems.
So we need to find gems with gems in their heads. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yes. Gem-headed gems.
Jim.
So as the two of you are quietly conversing, and Captain, you're trying to bring Aruk up to speed on exactly what the fuck is going on. Karak,
The difference
Grandmaster
between
Karak looks at you and says, are there any questions that you have that we might be able to answer?
I slowly start to raise my hand.
Yes, and he kind of points at you. Yes, Aruk, what is it?
No one in the party's gonna stop me.
I wasn't taking off on the draw.
We haven't heard anything yet, so go for it.
Okay, I slowly raise my hand and I'm like, so if I'm following correctly, our ship is made entirely of gems. Do you mean for us to kill our entire ship crew and look at their skulls?
He kind of turns his head a little bit.
Shake my head at Clark
and says,
I'll handle this part later.
he says, no, and he says, he kind of looks at you and says, was this one with you when you found the skull?
This one's not even all the way there, let alone.
Yeah, he was with you guys, I'm pretty sure.
He was there physically,
Yeah.
yes.
He says, he's there physically. He goes, understood. And he goes, And he goes, "No, there are just certain skulls that are already skulls that you must find." And he says, "Don't worry, don't worry."
So old gems. So we need to
yes.
ask them where their parents are buried.
Jim Seniors, yes.
Jim Seniors, yes. And he says, "Do any of the rest of you have any questions?"
Yes. Do you know the location of the remaining skulls?
We have some intel, though we don't know how concrete it is. We do have some information on the location of 2 of the remaining ones. We suspect that the Amari have at least 4, possibly 5 of them already.
Did you have more questions, Barry? Or
Yeah, but you can go ahead.
That we have like
Oh,
deep
yeah.
into the ocean. They'll never freaking find it, and then
I was
problem solved. They can't find all 9 gems.
all of them, right?
I'm sorry?
You said they need all of them in order to. Yeah, why don't we just throw the one we have?
I mean, we could, yeah.
Or
You
even
could.
like
I also raised my hand again.
no, no. I just pull it back down. Let the adults talk.
I look over. I'm like, can't we just smash the gyms?
Okay, you can ask that one.
Probably not.
I like look at I look at
We need
the
the sword of
scary bald.
Gryffindor to do that.
Yeah, I look at the
Yeah,
scary.
Right,
I look,
yeah, to destroy
I
a
look over at
Horcrux.
the scary bald monk, and I'm like, can we just destroy the gyms?
So we're not sure. We've been too frightened to try because we're not sure what would happen if one of the gems was destroyed.
Does anybody have
Like flex on him a little bit. I flex on him a little bit. I'm like, I'm pretty strong.
Because it could technically break the magical binding, maybe.
Okay,
if one of those
Oh,
gems gets broken.
yeah. It could break the seal that's holding the
Right.
Leviathan in.
And then we're the ones who fuck up instead of the other people.
Fuck. Yeah. Okay. Good point. And how many skulls do we have? We
Okay.
just have one.
one, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the one. Okay, that's what I thought.
I don't know. I think I'm down to let Farouk try because we could. Hang on. So hear me out.
I mean, I'm not ready to fight a Leviathan.
I already looked
I
at
guess
their.
that Cole just sounds like he wants to fight a Leviathan.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, just so that way you guys know, you cannot trust what the D&D wiki says about the Leviathan because I have homebrewed him.
Yeah. I was
Just so
gonna-
that way,
I assumed
just
so.
I knew as soon as I said the name of Leviathan, one of you guys was gonna Google that shit. So
I
just
did.
know that I have homebrewed him quite a bit.
Oh. Fuck.
Hey, if anybody in this room can take a Leviathan, though, Kark can take a Leviathan.
We'll see.
I don't say that out loud, of course, because Hazel wouldn't know that.
Right? Yeah.
Harry, the only issue with Dispel Magic is I'm not sure what level that our DM's gonna keep the magic of this skull at,
Right.
but I'm gonna assume it's gonna be way higher than what I can cast it at, which would be a 6th level spell.
Okay, that's fine.
I'd like to look at Kark, and I would like to ask him, and I want there to be a visible strain of my facial expressions to form these well articulated thoughts.
Okay.
I want to ask him if he knows who the leader of the Amari is,
I think it's
and
Aldama.
He
if he knows where she is or it is.
he says
My face is I'm sweating. Veins are popping out.
right. He says he kind of looks at you with a little concern and says calm down. First, breathe. Just breathe. And secondly, we suspect we believe that the woman or entity known as Tia Dalma is the current leader of the Amari. But we know that there are shadow players that have not revealed themselves yet.
I lean over to Rook and I say, "Good question, buddy." And I give him a pat on the back.
I like smile really big because like I don't know if you guys know this, but like whenever I went to go do my multi-classing, I can't multi-class into a wizard because I don't have high enough intelligence.
That's so good.
So I'm trying to play this out after finding out this new fact about Aruk.
So
Nice.
I like it. I really do like it. You ever seen those like Fallout mods where they drop the intelligence back to like 2 or something?
yeah,
Yeah.
I want to ask Karik. I say to him, you had mentioned that you had some intel that indicated some of the skulls were held in Kathir.
Yes.
First and foremost, do you think it would be worth it for us to go back and try and get them?
That's
And
what
if-
we've been discussing. We think that it may be time to try to strike first, opposed to only being reactionary. It would be difficult, and there would need to be quite a lot of preparation, but we think it is possible to try to make a strike against Kathir and potentially even overthrow the Emperor and topple what they have going on there and potentially even collect these skulls all in one fell swoop. But we would need quite a bit of help.
So back to Zezel's question, what would just be wrong with just trying to hide the last one? And just call it a day?
Well, once they realize, if they don't know already that you possess one of these, they will come after you,
They do.
and they will
Yeah, they do, right?
they will do so relentlessly.
They know.
They will do so relentlessly, and if at a certain point there is no place on this earth that they won't try to find you or try to track you down to, and you will basically spend the rest of your life on the run. And that's if you're lucky enough to keep it away from them. Do not underestimate these people. Some of them are extraordinarily powerful. And it seems to me, based on what you guys have told me, that Tia Dalma has not quite yet fully revealed herself or her power.
No.
No.
So do not underestimate them.
So dropping it in a random spot in the ocean would not work. Or like feeding it to a whale and calling it a day.
There's no guarantee. I don't know how they have
Just
collected
feed
so
them
many
the
already.
whale idea.
If they truly have as many as we believe them to have, if they truly have 4 or even 5 of them, then that means they have some method of finding them that we don't understand.
Like Dragon Balls?
Yeah, I've been waiting.
Yeah,
for
and
this
I guess
day.
from what we've
Dragon
seen
Ball.
so far, they've got so many like resources that honestly they could find somebody who can speak to fish.
I want to raise my hand again.
Yes, Aruk.
I like breathe. Do you know of any? I like wiggle my fingers. I'm like magic people that could help us find the gems.
He kind of laughs and says, we have already tried this, to a degree, though we have not been able to find someone who's powerful enough with divination to be able to try to find them. Or, well, we've currently our only. You're fine. Currently, our only course of action that we are looking into to attempt to find the remaining skulls would be to try to, well, as crazy as it sounds, find a way to make a wish.
What about? Okay.
Is
Well, we need to find somebody with a deck of many things then.
my slightly off topic question. What was it Captain
When you, never mind. Go ahead.
what was the name of the not Redbeard, but
Red,
no, the stronger one. One that
Pirate
came
King.
with-
the pirate.
Yeah,
King,
yeah.
Amon?
What's he have to do with this? Yeah.
What does Amon have to do with this? So at this, Karek
Good
says,
question. I like look over at you. I'm like, good question.
yeah.
I billow my cloak.
Like really loud.
yeah. All the cloaks react to the billowing of the other cloak.
Yeah.
Dude, can that
It's
be part of
almost
the
like a
spell?
pause for
Yeah,
question.
Can that be part of the spell, please? Like whenever one activates,
They all
the
do,
other
yeah.
They
activates.
all activate.
Isn't there like a flock of birds that does that?
It's a distress signal. It could be our distress signal.
Oh shit, my cloak is
I'm, like,
billowing. The others
sitting
must be
here
in danger.
That could only be one thing.
yeah.
One thing. Or Rook's getting it in.
So, god damn it. Everybody just takes their cloaks off and puts it in a
Yeah.
box at night now.
I cast fireball on cloaks.
yeah. So, anyways, Karek says, Amon's part in this is strange and only been very recent. I don't know much about Amon's past before I met him a long time ago. And he says, and I don't know what interactions you've had with him, but Amon is definitely a strange one. I've known him for a long time. I've adventured with him. I've seen him do heroic things, and I've seen him do horrific things. I believe, though, that his only interest in these matters, though, as of now, are likely these two, and he points to Molly and Althea. I think that those are likely his only real, but I'm not certain. It's been a long time since I've been face to face with Amon, and in the time since we've last spoken, I don't know what he knows of his past or his family. I don't know if he has any family connections to either side. I don't know. But I know that for whatever reason, it seems that this child, and he points to Molly, for some reason or another, is being hunted by these people, or at least. And then he kind of pauses and he says, which is curious as to why she would turn her over to you. That's a part I have yet to figure out. And he says,
The necklace.
Yep, I thought
Is the necklace one of the gems?
he
Yeah, but didn't she say that was given to her by mother?
Yeah, but still.
you as you look at you kind of, as everybody kind of, when you say this out loud, everybody kind of looks over at Molly, and she pulls the gem out, and pretty immediately it becomes apparent it's much too small to be one of the gems that are set into these are, I mean, they're fucking honkin' sized gems, right, that are set into these skulls, whereas this is a very small gem that is on a
Ask
necklace.
Molly if she ever gets frequent headaches.
She says, she kind of looks at you and is like, you're not checking my skull out, first off. Secondly, no. The answer is no.
So we got to keep your ass safe.
Yeah. Real quick, what species of skull is the one we have? Is it human or
Human.
Okay.
Human. And this, if I remember correctly, the stone set within the skull is a brilliant blue sapphire.
Yeah.
But Karek then finishes about Amon saying, though it might not be a terrible idea to ask him himself. And Molly quickly pipes up and says, I can go. I can go look for him.
That may not be necessary. You have two people here that
It's gonna be a no from me, dog.
you have two people here that probably have a better connection to him than any of us do. And I look over to Althea first.
She says, I can certainly try, though I don't know how happy he would be with me.
Nice.
She says, but I'm willing to try.
I think that may be a good place to start. Nobody's got a better idea.
And then that's when Karik once again speaks up and says, I have given you all of the information, most of the information that I have on this. But I really, truly believe that we may not have a better time to strike at Kathir than now. Within the next few days, though, like I said, we'll need help. But we have an idea for that. He looks around the party and says,
Nope, you don't have to explain it. Let's go. Boys, let's go.
He says, I've heard that you have that you rescued many wood elves. There are many wood elf tribes around here, and if we could convince the various tribes, to help us, they could provide enough of a distraction to allow a small party, to sneak into the city and potentially be able to bypass a lot of the guards and forces and make it straight to the tower. But we would need quite the distraction.
I take it you're wanting to do a land assault?
Well, I mean, I'm open for any kind of assault. However, it would need to be sufficiently large in order to cause enough of a distraction.
Because they know what both of the ships look like?
I think
Yeah.
we should probably.
And the thing is, that
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if we're convincing a bunch of wood elves to fight with us, the best bet is from a land assault, because the wood elves are gonna be more prepared for a land assault than throwing them asses on boats. And they've never been on boats before.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I think it might be worth having somebody who could maybe wild shape, do some recon. That way we know what we're getting ourselves into before
Mm.
we just
Yeah.
go in there.
We also need
Guns
some
blazing.
ambassadors from the Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Just to help give us some more sway.
Some leverage. Yeah. Agreed.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then it seems to be settled. We all know what we need to do. And we should start fresh in the morning. As time is of the essence. So, if there's nothing else that you would like to know, then I believe it is time that we all get our rest.
Well, I think
Are
I'm
there
done.
supplies that your monks could provide us to aid us in this? Because I don't think this is going to be an easy battle for either party.
I've been thinking that. I have some friends that I can call upon, but they do not work for free. So we would have to pay them. However, I think they may have some things that might be able to assist us.
An expensive lot, or
Considering the cause, I can't imagine too expensive, but still not what I would call cheap.
I'll just be upfront with Card, since he just allowed us into his sanctuary and all that, and I'll just tell him what we have fund wise.
He says, "Oh yes, then I think that we might be able to I think we might be able to do something. Give me 24 hours, and I will see what I can accomplish in that time. And I will let you know."
And that's it. Don't spend all the budget if you can, because we gotta have that to live a little bit.
He says, of course," and bows. And I guess if there's nothing else that anybody else has to say, then he bids you adieu for the night.
How much of our gold does he take?
He doesn't take any. He just
Okay.
basically goes with the knowledge of what you guys have, so that way
Yeah.
he can kind of do a deal.
He's got negotiating power.
Yeah. What is currently in the ship's fund?
35.3 thousand.
And then add my 1,700 to that too. So.
All right.
Add my
So
1,000 to that.
okay, yeah. So you guys have plenty of gold, I think, for this. And so before he bids you guys, actually, never mind. So you guys bed down for the night and rest up. The morning comes quickly. You said you guys wanted to do some recon.
Can we have just a pause real quick so I can switch to my computer? 'Cause I'm
Absolutely, yeah.
fine
Go
now.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sweet.
Yeah, I need to get some water real quick.
Just the two of us.
Make
We can make
it if we try, just the two of us. I think this will probably make it onto the recording too.
Oh, just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us.
I don't want to
You
say
and
anything. I don't want to say anything on the recording
Yeah, I
to
understand.
those who are going to watch
Why I messed
this back later. But
Yeah.
that other character,
Yeah.
don't worry, I have a plan.
Okay.
Hold on a
I
second.
really hope that made it back into the read back recording.
It will.
I really hope it did. That was fucking hilarious. I saw the opportunity. And I struck.
Oh shit, where did he was literally just here a second ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that too.
So yeah, why I was late today, guys, was Discord had 14 updates,
Oh,
and my
shit.
internet is 1.2 megabytes a second.
Nice.
So I'm
It's
like,
like dial-up
fuck.
speed, bro.
Yeah, it's like I was like, fuck.
Eric's over
It's
here
worse
surfing
than dial-up
AOL and
speed.
shit.
Mhm.
Bro, I'm like sitting over here on like fucking, I don't know.
Windows Vista,
Like-
bro.
Yeah. Windows
Yeah,
95. What are you
LimeWire.
talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like sitting here like trying to download Brick Breaker and it's like fucking taking me a day. I've got to like put a floppy disk in just to download like my fucking Age of Empires.
All right. So
I'm aging myself on YouTube right now, aren't I?
yeah.
Sure are.
Yep. Yeah, dating the fuck out of yourself there, bud.
Mic check 1 2 check.
Yep, can hear you fine, man. Sound great. All right, cool.
For some reason
So
it's coming through my like 2 different speakers. Your guys' voice is coming through fine, but every time I hit my push to talk button, it's coming through my TV speakers.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's
that is
really
weird.
Awkward. Awkward.
So you guys have woken up.
Just so you guys,
and
before we
are
start
planning some-
again, and you
what?
guys watch this back, before we start again, before you guys this is like you guys should watch the reback video and see what me and Nick discussed. While you guys are all gone.
So on the recon we were discussing before we took our little quick break. Is that something you guys want to do now, or are you guys wanting to wait
do that.
on that?
Sure. Yeah, I would like to use the periscope if I can to get some.
Yeah. So the next, you guys get up in the morning and you guys at some point make your way back to the ship, and then you climb up in the crow's nest, and are you just kind of pointing it generally in the direction that you know Kathir is in?
Yeah, I kind of just want to check out the Bay Area and see if they have like ships
Gotcha.
posted up, anything like that that we may run into.
Absolutely. So, as you as you get up in the crow's nest and you begin to search around, um, you can't see all the way to Kathir, of course.
Right.
But you can see kind of on the other side of you're sitting up pretty high in the crow's nest, and you can kind of see the horizon on the other side of this wood. You can almost see like where it becomes somewhat desert-like again, and less plush, and you can see out to the sea, down directly to the south of you, and then obviously out far behind you up into the Gulf. So are you looking out? Wait a second. You're looking towards these other elven kingdoms on the other side of the Gulf of Lurien?
So, so are we planning on like hiking instead of like just boating around?
I'm not sure. So once you get out to the sea though,
I guess
and you're looking around.
I'll look
Go ahead.
over the woods, see how far out I can see towards Kathir.
Yeah, you can't, like I said, you can't see all the way to Kathir. However, you can see like the edge of the horizon is on the other side of the wood, where you can kind of see the river off in the distance. However, uh, if you look across the Gulf of Lorien, you can see that just over the edge of the horizon, you can see that there might be some activity going on out that way, out in the Gulf of Lurien.
Okay.
And then if you look directly to the south, you can kind of see down this long beach line and out into the Great Sea, down here to the south of Kathir, and you don't see any ships necessarily moving around down in that area.
Okay.
But that you would think that if they're gonna come, you suspect they're got to be looking for you guys at least to some degree, and if they're gonna do it, then that would be the direction they would likely come from.
Okay.
Um, so, um, however, as you're looking out over the wood, um, you do see a couple places throughout the woods where you see smoke rising through the trees up to the top that you suspect may be fires, or where there might be some kind of wood elves, maybe where there might be encampments or different things of that nature.
Sure. Okay. I don't know. I feel like at this point we maybe need to have our maybe our druid go and see if we can rally up some troops.
Oh, am I doing surveillance or what am I doing?
Well,
Oh
so
yeah, surveillance first, I would say.
I think so. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Can you
So
turn into like an eagle or anything and just
yeah. So I'm looking at a giant eagle right now. And DM, is the giant eagle big enough to carry a person?
Let me look that
boy,
stat block.
I'm like 3'2". I could ride you.
I guarantee it. I mean, they're 10 feet
Yeah,
tall,
I would say, yeah, you could take Zez. You could
Okay,
probably take
so-
Zezel. Yeah, absolutely.
Hear me out. We put his periscope on my back with him. What kind of massive amounts of surveillance could we get done with that?
With you flying around as an eagle and then Zezel on your back with a periscope, quite a bit, actually. You could probably figure out quite a bit
Let's
doing
do it.
that.
We could drone strike these guys or something.
I can throw daggers, so I mean, you could just it's like a F-16 barreling through. No, we're not attacking these guys, but I'm just saying that would be really cool.
We'll keep that one in the pocket.
Right.
So anyway, if you guys want to do the periscope or not, I don't know if it's worth it, but I thought it was a cool idea.
Yeah.
I'm down.
What if
Okay.
roll for
So you
anything?
guys spend some time trying to come up with a a way of building some kind of harness or something that you can strap to
I think we just
strap to.
take
Go
some
ahead.
rope and put it on like directly on top of his head like that, and then just pull the rope like all 50 feet.
I mean, look, I've got
Can I like
plus
try and like
13 to dexterity, so I've got plus 13 to acrobatics, and like, yeah. So I mean, we should be good riding this fucking thing.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Rook?
Oh, I thought we were trying to attach the I like cut out there for a second. I thought we were trying to attach the periscope to um Venkin's eye, and Aruk was not going to try because he did not trust himself to shove the periscope into his,
Yeah.
his eye.
No. So yeah, you guys spend a little time, but you're able to come up with a way that you can kind of get the periscope propped up on Venkin's back, and then Captain Zezel, you climb up on Venkin's back, and yeah, you guys take flight. It takes, I'll say, Venkin, takes you a little bit of time to kind of get used to the weight on your back and everything, but after a few practice runs around the ship, around the air, through the air around the ship, you actually start to kind of get the hang of it, and you begin to fly out over the woods. With, I'm sure, a much improved movement speed over your walking form.
Yes, at 80 feet.
Yeah, 80 feet every what? 80 feet per turn, so 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. So you're flying at quite a clip as you're moving around. Are you just gonna try to fly over like these plumes of smoke that you see, and try to kind of get info about these wood elves, or is that the kind of basic plan?
Yeah, I thought you guys are wanting more on the city too.
Oh, are you trying to think you're flying all the way to the city?
Yeah, and then we can check out the smoke signals that are kind of on the way. I don't know how much time. I mean, I guess we sort of have.
How long are you How long can you wild shape for?
I thought it was until I fell out of it.
Oh, you could basically indefinitely.
Not indefinitely, but
In 5e, wild shape rule states that you can stay in a beast shape for a number of hours equal to half of your druid level.
so 6 hours, then I guess. You round up.
Always round down with D&D, so I'll call. But you're at a level 11, so let's just say 5.5 hours.
Okay.
So you got 5.5 hours. That's not enough time to fly all the way to the city. Well,
He is an eagle.
he is a
He
big ass
probably goes
eagle, yeah.
pretty fast.
Hang on, I'm about to figure out this speed because 80 feet
Per 6 seconds.
per 6 seconds is.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, that is pretty fucking quick. Or is it?
Bruh.
So let's see here.
He's a fly. He's a track star.
80 feet.
Well, it's 13 feet a second almost into mile per hour.
Be 800 feet a minute. So
Damn.
Yeah.
Actually, that's only like 9 miles an hour.
Yeah, that doesn't. I was about to say that didn't quite add up when I was thinking about it. I was like, so 80 feet per turn, and the turn always. My understanding of D&D mechanics is that a turn always took 6 seconds.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was at. So that's roughly 9.
But I feel like, honestly, like at max speed, I almost feel like a big ass eagle flies at like 80 feet a second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at top speed, they can cover 80 feet in a single second, I would imagine. Because 80 feet's really not that far.
Yeah, I was starting to think of a football field, and that's
9,000.
pros run that easy.
Yeah,
It'd be
so
like-
I would.
if you did it with a 6 second, it would be like 30 miles an hour. Because he would be going 800 feet a minute, which would be like 1,600 feet per 2 minutes. So yeah, it'd be like 30 miles an hour ish.
But
That's very, very rough math, but
plug the
I don't
math
know
in,
the
see how
secret of
fast
math.
they would be going at 80 feet per second. So that would be, how many miles per hour would that be? Fuck.
No, hang on.
He could get like
maybe
150
not.
miles probably.
That is 55 miles an hour.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay, so that's
So that sounds probably about more accurate. I would say an eagle could fly about 55 miles an hour. That sounds a
yeah,
lot more
absolutely.
accurate.
I'm looking up an eagle right now. Golden eagle can fly a max at 80 miles an hour.
Holy
Jeez.
shit! God damn.
That's horizontal.
Quick as
too, that's
fuck,
not
boy.
vertical.
So
Imagine going
okay,
on
so
the
let's say
highway
let's
and
just
seeing an
say
eagle
let's
fly
just say
past
this
you.
giant eagle is a little slower because of its size than a smaller eagle. So let's say it can go 60 miles an hour. If you look at the map, I would say you could just make it there and back with the amount of time you have the wild shape. You could one
circle
loop
and
would take your whole 5.5 hours.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Okay. So you guys begin to fly off. And it takes you almost 2 hours to get to your destination. And in that time you fly over the woods, you see many different elven tribes, kind of with small different like almost camp-like communities in different places. And then you see kind of a wide open kind of plain-like area where these two rivers are flowing through before eventually you see the city on the horizon. As you approach, come on now. As you guys approach the city, flying about due southwest almost, you also see that in that time you see that there is one other city between you and Kathir that you kind of have to fly around a little bit. It's much smaller, but there is another elven city that's further up in this bay, this small bay that Kathir sits in. But as you approach Kathir, you see that the bay is quite active. There is quite a bit of activity on the ships. You see, you think there might even be more damn ships than you saw just a couple of days ago when you were here. And you see that there's all kinds of preparations are being made along the coast. It almost looks like they might be preparing for something. They're definitely preparing for something on the coast. You can see them loading all kinds of supplies onto ships. You see formations, all kinds of things. They may be about to set out. Who knows?
Yeah. Can we? What kind of hearing check can we do? I guess to listen.
Ooh, hearing is going to be a lot more difficult because you're going to have the wind blowing by you guys as you're flying around. And I imagine you're going to keep a pretty high altitude.
Yeah. Okay.
So that way they don't see the fucking halfling on your back with a big periscope. So most of what you can see is going to be visual, I would say. Getting down close enough to listen to anything is going to be quite difficult. Though I would say that you might be able to pick up a general kind of din of activity that is going on around the city. You know what I mean? Kind of like almost a background vibrational din of just, shit. So as you guys are flying around the city, is there any other parts of the city besides the Bay Area where the ships are that you would want to be inspecting or trying to see anything?
All right, hear me out, Zezel.
Yep.
You being the sneaky little bitch you are, you jump into the water, listen, and then I swoop you back up after I circle the city.
Sure.
Okay, so are you just gonna do like a proper like dive, Zezel, like straight into the water off of the eagle's back?
Bro, can we hear like eagles screeching in the background as he does like the fucking? You guys know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
I didn't hear the first part of what you said. I just heard people screaming in the background or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we go
like
low enough.
Assassin's Creed, where he like dives and.
Oh.
Yeah, so you fly low enough to where Zezel wouldn't get hurt from the fall. So Zezel, let's get an acrobatics check with your super high acrobatics.
15 plus 13. So
Yeah, so Zezel wins gold with his entrance into the water. Like hardly a splash is even made as he just kind of like a quick black blur just and then just into the water, like barely even a fucking droplet comes up. It just makes a little boop sound as he hits the water. Yeah, so Zezel, you are now in the water. And as Venkin is flying away to scope out over the city. So are you swimming up to the nearest ship to try to see if you can listen in on what's going on?
yeah, I think that's probably the best bet.
Okay, yeah, so you swim out, and you see quite a large naval vessel with elven soldiers busy about it. And you swim up there. Go ahead and roll perception for me.
$18.
Okay. So with an 18, you hear elves. You hear an elven, commander or somebody in charge, some elven soldier in charge shouting in Elvish. Which, by the way, Zizzle, do you speak Elvish?
I do not.
Son of a bitch.
Just like,
Nope, I speak halfling, thieves can't, and common. That's it.
Speak the
So
words of
Zezel,
my
you
people.
immediately realize the flaw in your plan as you're pressed up against the side of this boat trying to listen. You're like, "Fuck! I can't speak Elvish," and so you just hear them rattling away in Elvish. For a while. I'm gonna go over to you, Venkin, as you're flying out over the city. Is there any where you're heading in particular? Are you gonna try to fly around the tower, or where is exactly?
yeah, we can focus on the tower, but I was just gonna do like
A
outer
little lap
loop
around
and
the
then-
city. Gotcha. So as you fly over the city, something you didn't notice before from the ground level, and when you were kind of skulking through the tunnels, was this is actually a fucking gorgeous city. It really is. The architecture is beautiful. The elves, they really know how to I don't know, they just really know how to build shit. It's really beautiful. It's really truly a beautiful city. And the sun is glistening off of many different buildings and polished metal and different things. And as you fly around the city, you kind of just get a general sense that um, there's a lot of activity going on in the city as well. There's troops moving through the streets. People seem scared. And as you fly around, as you fly up around the tower, you catch just the barest glimpse as two figures enter off of there's a kind of a balcony near the very top of the tower. And you see two figures as they're walking off the balcony and back into the tower. Go ahead and roll perception for me.
Can I perch above them on the roof?
Absolutely.
The 12 on perception.
So it's such a brief glimpse as you fly by and you decide to loop around to try to perch on top of the tower.
Oh wait, hang on. I get advantage on.
Ooh, there you go.
They rely on sight, right? Is it
Yes.
Sight? Okay. We're up to a 15.
With a 15, I would say as you're flying around to land, you realize the two figures that you saw, one was male and one was female. And the only thing that you caught, the only thing that stuck out to you about the female was that she had horns.
Okay.
And as you fly around and perch, the door closes as they've made their way back inside the building.
I'll sit for maybe 2 minutes and see if I hear anything, and then if I can't hear anything with the door, then
You can't hear anything going on inside. Okay, so you're gonna fly back towards the bay to
I'll
pick
get a
Zezel
nice
up.
little screech, and I'll continue my lap.
Gotcha. So you fucking
Yeah, exactly.
fly off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking. Okay, so you make your way back over the city, seeing more military preparation going on, things of that nature, and you fly back over the bay to see Zezel kind of swimming away from one of the large ships. Kind of swimming. You could just, with your eagle sight, you're able to kind of, when you see him, like, kind of like just below the surface of the water swimming, you're just gonna fucking pray his ass and just
Yeah, I'll give
snatch
a
him out of the
nice-
water.
Yeah, I'll give him a screech so he, kind of expects me, but we'll swoop him
Yeah.
out.
Zezel, you're kind of swimming away from this, feeling defeated, swimming away from the ship, feeling defeated. But all of a sudden, you hear the cry of an eagle above you, and the next thing you know, there's something just comes into the water and fucking snatches you up out of the water, and you're just like, fuck! As you're kind of ripped out of the water, fucking soaking wet, you know what I mean? And fucking, then you're just like Frodo, just laying there in the clutches of a fucking eagle.
Cold, shivering, wet,
Yeah.
defeated.
Shivering wet at the high altitude as you fly away. So you are you gonna stop anywhere to let Zezel back up on your back, or are you just flying all the way with your claws?
I mean, if that's a 2-hour trip, then I mean, what is it, acrobatics you could climb up? How's that?
Oh, you know what you could do? You could just like toss him with your leg and then fly up under his ass.
If he can't climb up me, then I'm gonna perch in a tree for a second. I'm not
Gotcha.
gonna try and throw this man around.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you decide to just play it safe and fly to once you get to the tree line, you kind of perch with one leg in the tree, and you kind of allow Zezel to climb up on your back and then take off once again. As you fly once again over the woods, you begin to feel your hold on the form beginning to loosen as and almost like a photo finish, you're able to make it back to the ships and kind of fucking land on the deck in a little bit of a fucking hot landing as you turn back into your normal form. Fucking Zezel still mildly damp from, though slightly air dried. I imagine his
Yeah.
beard is just like, like fucking everywhere. As you kind of plop the soggy captain back down on deck before you turn back into your form. And you are now once again with the party. And you guys can
I
share the
share-
information that you have gathered.
Yes, I do.
So, Zezel, would you like to go first?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. I storm off to the captain's quarters.
I
That's when it hits you,
suggest-
Vink, and you're like, oh, fuck. He doesn't speak Elvish. Fuck.
I say, hang on, wait, don't leave. Should I go back and
Alright, I'm gonna
pass
just
that
turn around
space
and
and stealth
sulk.
run myself, or do we think what we got is enough?
I didn't get
'Cause
shit. I mean, we saw.
what would Karik think with how much presence is going on in the city? Nothing.
Huh?
Okay. What would Karik think of all the presence in the city? I guess. I guess we'd ask
Yeah,
him if we need
you could
more
go out.
info.
You could journey up to Chichen Itza really quickly and ask him if you like. Is the rest of you going to be doing the same? Going to be traveling? Because I would say like so. It's been probably with preparation of getting you guys ready for your flight, and then the flight itself and everything. I'd say that it's probably well into the afternoon, if not creeping into evening at this point. And it's been, would you guys have left after the conversation last night and head back to the ship, or would you have stayed in Chichen Itza and then come back to the ship in the morning?
I probably
Okay, yeah. So if the party had went back to the ship, then it has been nearing 24 hours since you've last spoke with Kark. So I imagine it would be about time for you guys to go, for the party to kind of reconvene and share what information you've gathered anyway. So the party makes their way back through the woods, back to Chichen Itza, and you find yourself in a familiar place, almost like deja vu, as you, just as about sunset is hitting, you find yourself climbing the last few stairs of the pyramid back into the sanctuary of the Grand Master Kark. As you guys enter, you find Kark is alone in here this time. Molly and Althea are not in the chamber that you can see. And he says, "Ah, how did it go?"
I just look over to Zezel.
Not very well.
He gives a bit of a chuckle and says, "Well, did you get any information whatsoever?"
Nope, because in the midst of the whole action, I forgot that I don't speak Elvish.
He kind of gives a little bit of a chuckle and he says, "Ah, yes, that'll get you every time," and says, "Did you
I'll
at
tell
least
him
see
that we
anything?"
did see a lot of movement, and they seem to be preparing for something.
Yes, they may be preparing to set out in search of, well, maybe perhaps you lot and the remaining skulls. Who knows? Um, and he says, "Is there anything else that you learned while you were?"
Tell them about the tiefling I saw and who I'm assuming it is to be.
He says, "It seems that they have accelerated their plans, and so we must do the same. I feel that tomorrow our main focus should be trying to unite the tribes and trying to plan our attack because it seems that time is even more precious than we originally thought." And he says, "However, I do have some good news." And he says, "Tomorrow I have a friend coming that will absolutely be able to, I think, give us just the edge that we need to make enough of a bang." And he says, and also too, he's decided that it's not going to cost us nearly as much gold. For only about 3,000 gold, he's going to get us quite set up.
Reasonable
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I'll throw my 1,000 gold at that.
Okay.
My personal money. So
And then I guess
He says,
2 out of the ship fund.
and he says, "I think you guys will rather enjoy this character as well as what he brings with him." Um,
Only take 1,000 out of the ship fund. I'll take 1,000 out of my own pocket.
Okay.
so yeah, you guys pay the gold over. And he says, yes, he will be here at some point tomorrow with everything we need. But for now, we need to focus on our plan and our plans on this as far as the city are concerned. Once we are able to gather the tribes, and they can make a land assault towards Kathir, but I suspect that will not be enough. There also have to be a secondary distraction to throw them off from the main objective, which will be the infiltration.
So another distraction, like somebody was saying, we'll go with the daggers on the eagle, do like bombs or something.
That might not be bombs. Yeah, bombs would work.
Hmm.
I do. Hang on. I have something. I have alchemist tools. Would I be able to do that to make some kind of like cocktails or something?
Absolutely, you would be able to figure out. I'll say it'd take you some time, but yeah, you have absolutely be able to try to create some kind of device. Or would you be going for something that, like something like basically essentially like a frag grenade, or maybe something along the lines of a Molotov cocktail?
Thermite, straight up.
Something explosive. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I'll say that you begin to kind of start brainstorming some ideas, though you know that it won't be necessarily easy. It'll be quite the undertaking, but you think that you could probably pull it off. So, um, with that, he says, some explosives may help. They may be just the thing, but the delivery will be important, and I also think that we should try to make some kind of ruckus on the seaside as well. And basically just have multiple levels to our attack in order to try to confuse them further and throw them off of our trail.
I was thinking
know a
maybe
guy.
if we have some kind of ship that we could put our colors up on, and
Or sneak onto a ship and
yeah, or do that and take off with it.
yeah,
Hmm.
It's not a bad
I like
idea.
that idea.
Yeah.
Call Tony.
Hmm.
Much food you got?
Call in a favor from Tony.
Tony, the underground fucking,
Mob boss.
fucking the rat lord,
Mob boss, yeah.
the rat father.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys I'll say you guys spend the rest of the evening just kind of coming up with different plans and ideas before heading back to the ship and retiring to bed if there's nothing else that anybody has that they would like to say or ask. So yeah, you guys make your way, get another night's rest. And then today, first thing, Perry, I imagine you kind of get to work on your alchemy. So first things first, as you're kind of experimenting with your early trials, and with what you have available to you, let's go ahead and make some. Let's see. Your alchemy would be. I don't know that would necessarily be magic, would it? I'm almost thinking nature check.
I was thinking like nature or medicine. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do nature.
Okay. And I get my proficiency bonus to
Yes.
it, right? Okay. So
Mhm.
that's gonna be 16 plus 5, 21.
Yeah, so pretty quickly you're actually able to come up with a plan that involves basically taking old like rum and different bottles and things of that nature as the vessels and being able to pressurize them with a few different components that you're able to find, maybe a little gunpowder and a few different things that you find, and are able to roll 1d12.
A D12. Do we have any of this gnomish wine left?
I would say probably not at this point. You guys have been looking for it for a while.
Right. I was hoping we had some left so that we can make like something with like a hallucinogenic effect.
Just some fucking welcome to welcome to having your third eye open bombs.
Yep.
Yeah. Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker.
Yeah. No
That's
shit.
11.
11. You're able to make 11. It's going to take you all day, but you're able to make 11 explosive devices.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Go ahead and add that.
but in doing so, you expend all of the supplies that you have.
That's fine.
So you make 11 explosive devices. I will say, for the sake of ease, they will do essentially the damage that Fireball at 3rd level.
Woo! All right. Damn.
Yeah, these are pretty powerful. You guys are pretty high level, and you guys are gonna need these motherfuckers. So, yeah, Fireball at 3rd level.
Okay. 8d6. God damn.
8d6 fire. I'll say 4d6 is force damage. 4d6 is fire damage.
Okay. 4d6 force, 46 fire.
Um,
Same death
I've-
save mechanic as well. Okay.
I'll ask what needs to be done from us to help get as many of the wood elves as possible.
So, as you guys begin to kind of clue some of the crew in and stuff, the first mate of the Jimi Hendrix chimes in and says, she says in common, she says, well, the only way that you're going to be able to unite these tribes is you're going to have to make the fear real. You're going to have to make them understand that it's not just us or the other tribes that are in danger, that's all of them. But we can go with you. And she kind of looks at the rest of the crew, rest of the half elves and stuff. She's like, we've got a few from several different tribes among us, and I think that we'll be able to get most of everybody on board, hopefully. But so she says, whenever you're ready to leave, we can go.
I'm ready. I don't know who wants to go along. I assume Perry's gonna be.
Yeah, Perry's spending all day on
Yeah.
his alchemy. Literally all day. He's just below deck of the ship.
Yeah.
Just fucking cooking all day. Heisenberging it up all day. So
I am the danger.
yeah.
I'll go. But I want to take some Jimi Hendrix Wood Elves.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah,
gonna
they're-
go.
I think, the way I see it is like a representative or two from like as many tribes as possible is going to go with this.
Yeah.
And that'll be our kind of like party, if you will.
Alrighty. Yeah, so as Perry spends his day working away with the alchemy, you guys venture out. Aruk, are you going along?
I would assume so, yes.
Yes, okay. So you guys begin to venture out into the woods, and some time passes before, as you guys are just kind of hiking through the woods, casually chatting and things of that nature. And pretty soon she says, we're coming up close. Let us do the talking first. And she, as you guys begin to approach, she calls out with her hands up, and she calls out in Elvish. And but you notice that this is a slightly almost like a slang form of Elvish in a way. It's like a slight derivation of Elvish. And so while you can understand about 95% of it, Venkin, you can't understand 100% of it. But you get the sense that she's just calling out and saying like, hello there, we come in peace, we just want to talk, kind of thing. And you see that as initially the elves are a little hesitant, as they see people just kind of walking up on their camp, but once they realize that they are also wood elves, they kind of relax, and you see that they begin to kind of be a little bit more welcoming. But you see that these wood elves, they live very much like the druids that you've known throughout your life. They live in like tree houses and things of that nature, very much symbiotic with nature, and the way that they live. And after a few moments of conversing with a few people, she looks back at the party and says, "Come this way. We'll go speak with the chief." And she leads you to this large tree, this large ash tree that's kind of in the center of this kind of encampment, with a quite large tree house built inside of it. And you guys begin to scale your way up the tree, and kind of make your presence known. And as you guys make it to the top of the tree and into the treehouse, you see that sitting inside is an older wood elf who's got long, like almost like greenish black hair, and with a few streaks of silver running through it, and this kind of pale, earthen kind of colored skin, like light brownish, greenish colored skin, and he's kind of sitting there, just kind of casually eating some berries and things, and you can see that he's conversing with a woman and another older elf that is standing up there. And she, as you guys reach the top of the platform up there, she bows deeply, kind of looks over all of you to kind of follow her lead, to bow. Do any of you refuse to bow?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay, so you all bow, and he kind of returns with a lowered head and says, "Well, hello there. It's not often." He says this in Elvish. He says, "Hello there. It's not often that we have visitors. What do I owe the honor?"
We come at a time of need. I believe we can help each other. It would appear that the great elven city of Kathir is plotting to release. Do they know what Leviathan is?
When you say Leviathan, you use the common word for it because you don't know what the elves call the Leviathan. You just use the common word for it, and he kind of like gives you a little bit of a look, and then she kind of supplies the word, the Elvish word, and when you say this, he kind of like you see like, oh shit, kind of look go over his face, and he says, but that doesn't make any sense. It would destroy them too.
We're not really sure what they. There's a lot we still don't know about them, but this much for sure we do know. I think they may or may not plan to harness it, maybe for some benefit, but obviously it's a risk that none of us want to take.
So
And
what
I'm
is your
sure that
plan then?
we plan to siege the city in some way and go after the leader, find out what's going on, and then, if possible, gather as many of these skulls as we can.
He kind of gives you a little bit of a look when you say skulls, because and you got to get the sense that he doesn't understand what you mean when you say that. But he says, well, what is it that you need from us?
As much supplies and people that you can spare. We don't quite have as much brute force as we would like to.
He says, am I the only one that you have sought this help from? Or that you plan to seek this help from?
You were the first, but not the only.
When you say that he was the first, you kind of see that tickles his ego just a little bit. And he says, so you plan to gather all the tribes then?
We plan to try.
Roll persuasion. I'll say,
Nat
go
20,
ahead.
baby.
What?
I got a nat 20, baby.
Oh, okay. Well, shit, I was going to say, Venkin, you can do it with advantage since Captain was helping you, but since you went ahead and just dropped that nat 20 on me, he says, perhaps you are right. Perhaps it's time that we finally stood up to them.
Wait, hold up. Is he speaking common?
No, actually, so you say that, actually, sorry, with your nat 20, no, thanks for bringing that up. So you don't speak Elvish, but I'll say that, listen, I'll say that with that nat 20, he understood the severity and like the almost desperation in your voice, and she supplied the translation almost immediately for you. And so he kind of says back in Elvish and says, yes, perhaps it is time. If you can gather the others, if you can gather their support, I too will support you.
Consider it done.
And he says, are you working with the Grand Master at Chichen Itza?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Have him send word whenever you have spoken with the other chieftains.
Okay.
And he bows deeply in a like, thank you, but also get the fuck out of my house kind of way.
I quickly do the same, and I just get.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll say there are 5 more chieftains. So what I'm going to have you guys do, because we've got about 45 minutes left at most before I got to call this. So what we'll do is we're going to do 5 more rolls. go ahead and roll. Basically, roll persuasion with advantage 5 times, and we're gonna see how many of them you can pass the DC of. The DC to beat is going to be 15.
Okay. Who do you want to roll?
Whoever among you think would have the best chance of getting the roll.
What do you
Whoever
got
has the
for
best
persuasion?
persuasion amongst you. Whoever has charisma.
My persuasion bonus is 8 because of my expertise.
Then yeah,
So-
it'll be Captain Zezel. So 5 times with advantage.
Let me. Okay.
It's done.
Okay, the first one is 18.
Pass.
19.
Another pass.
12.
That's a failure.
You got a 4 with advantage?
Oh, with advantage?
Yeah, bro, you got advantage.
Okay, then the second roll is 8 plus 7, 14, 15. Right?
15. Meets beat.
15, so meets beats. All right, so that's 3 successes. You got 2 more.
Fuck. I rolled a 4 and a 3 on that one, so that's a fail.
Damn.
Yeah, so you failed on 1. And the final?
17 plus 8.
Okay, so you guys spend most of the day traveling around the tribes. You are able to secure the help of all but one tribe. One tribe is the smallest tribe. However, they just don't really have any desire to help out their fellows. The leader has a grudge that he holds against some of the other chieftains and just refuses to help. Despite your best efforts, him and his forces will not be a part of it. But as you guys make your way back to rejoin with the rest of the party after all of you kind of divide up for the day to take care of your different responsibilities and then kind of inform one another and catching up about what it is exactly you've been able to accomplish across the day. Once again, it is time to go meet with Karik. And for the third time, you guys find yourselves climbing the stairs and finding your way
Such
into
big
Karik's
quads.
sanctuary. Once again, what'd you say, Rook?
Oh, I said I'm gonna have such big quads.
Yeah, your legs are gonna be hella swole. As you guys make your way back in this into the sanctuary this time, once again Althea and Molly have joined. And there's another figure standing there. Another small figure, Zezel, diminutive in size. Actually, you think that this individual might actually be a little bit shorter than you. With long flowing robes and a shock of white hair standing on top of his head, is a gnomish figure. And he kind of, as the party enters into the room, he kind of looks around and goes, oh, well, hello there, guys! And with this big kind of loud personality and this gigantic smile on his face, and says, I've got some goodies for you, and kind of does his hands like this. And Karik gives a bit of a chuckle and says, he does indeed. And the Karik looks at the rest of the party and says, I'd like to introduce you to another friend of mine. This is Ebenezer. And Ebenezer just kind of gives you a bit of a like crazy look in his eye and a bit of a wave, and he says, he's a bit eccentric, but he's the best there is. And he says, all right, you guys are gonna love this. And he kind of reaches into his pouch and pulls out a piece of parchment, and he lays it down on the table and unrolls it. And on the parchment, you see is a 3-barreled cannon. and it has it is capable of firing 3 shots at once. It is a big ass fucking cannon with 3 barrels mounted to it that can fire 3 rounds all at once. And he's like, I've got 4 of them.
I want to look at him and I want to like closely inspect the piece of paper and I want to look at the small man. I want to be like, how in the fuck did you fit that in your robe?
And he says, oh, you think that's cool? Watch this. And he fucking, you see like a little bit of a sparkle of energy on his finger as he grabs the parchment and throws it onto the ground, and then and then the paper turns, and then is this fucking cannon sitting right there. Just
I like kneel down. So Aruk wants to kneel down in front of this small diminutive figure, raise his trident, and be like, "Teach me your ways."
And he says, he kind of looks at you and he goes, I've always wanted an assistant. And but he says, I think these would be just the thing that you guys might need to help with your distraction. And he says, I've got ammo aplenty and everything that you'd need for them.
How? Just to clarify, these go on the ship, right? They're
Well, yeah.
cannons to the ship. Okay.
I don't think you could fire that from the shoulder.
Well, I just want to make sure.
Cannon.
Cannon, if you are exaggerating.
He's like, you're a big guy, but hell, that didn't impress me.
He doesn't have one with him, does it?
One what? A ship?
No, one of the cannons with him, right?
He just
Yeah,
pulled it out.
He just literally just fucking turned this piece of parchment that had the schematics of the cannon into the fucking cannon.
I
Right
wanna
there,
roll-
and just in the
I wanna
fucking
roll
landed
Aruk
right there.
kneeled.
shoulder.
Huh?
I want to wait. Hang on. What's the
He wants
biggest?
to try to
cannon?
shoulder it.
Yeah. Just because he said something.
You gotta grab, like a grizzly bear or something and pick it up.
I was gonna say like a bear or I don't know. Would I have seen an elephant yet?
No, probably not an elephant. Elephants are very, very, very rare.
Yeah, it's either I don't know, warhorse. Yeah, I don't know. Right.
Yeah, but a warhorse doesn't have the mechanical ability to shoulder something.
All right, let's just go into grizzly bear then.
Okay. So you wild shape into a grizzly bear. Let's go ahead and let's get a strength. Let's get a strength check.
Keyboard just died. I'm trying to find the grizzly bear.
Oh, the grizzly bear stats, strength stats.
We'll go ahead and roll.
That's a +4 strength.
Oh, that's a non-natural 20 then.
A non-natural 20.
Yeah.
So even with a non-natural 20, you get down your grizzly bear form, and you're roaring and trying to pick it up, and you're kind of able to get it like maybe 2 or 3 inches off the ground before you kind of have to set it back down, as you're just unable to pick this thing up. And he goes, "Good try, good try." he's like, I didn't even think you were gonna get it off the ground.
I just bite my tongue and shake back.
And he goes, and he kind of looks over at Kark and he goes, "Yeah, I like them." And he says, he just kind of like, he says, "I can't wait to see these things in action." And yeah, so he kind of just says, then he looks, then Kark looks at the party and says, "Did you have any success with the chieftains of the local tribes?"
4 out of 5, right?
5 out of 6, technically.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes. And he says, that's kind of what I expected, but honestly, we'll have to take every hand that we can get. I will send word. I believe we must believe we must do this tomorrow then. What do you say? What say all of you?
Let's do it.
And I
Hmm.
remind him to send word to the first one that we got help from the other 4.
Yeah, absolutely. He nods and says, "Of course, of course." So you guys, I guess, then begin to finalize your plans for the assault of Kathir. So I'll give you guys a few minutes here if you want, as a party, to just kind of discuss how you guys see this battle, how you guys want to kind of plan out your strategy here.
Okay. Are we wanting to put me on the back of the eagle with the bombs, or do we want to put Zezel up there?
Whoever's got the best, what would we have to roll for throwing?
What to like drop the bomb?
Yeah,
I would say honestly would
like
probably be
athletics?
just a regular attack roll.
Okay. So I guess whoever has some kind of proficiency with that action would be my best guess.
I don't have proficiency with ranged attacks, I don't think.
I do
I
with like
do.
throwing daggers. Does that count?
I mean, yeah, throwing a dagger and throwing a bomb is not entirely two different. One's just heavier.
Okay.
Okay.
How heavy
I'll
are the
ride.
bombs?
I'd say they're probably 10 pounds each, close to.
Damn. I was gonna say if we could affix them to my arrows, I could shoot them with my arrows.
Yeah, they're a little too heavy, you think, to be affixed to an arrow.
Do you have javelins?
I have hand axes.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you'd be better off just chucking them by themselves.
Right.
Okay.
Put Zezel up there.
Okay, to rain down bombs.
If he's cool with it, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess for a distraction, you could either try to steal a ship, light them on fire, or something along those lines. With addition to
Zezel might be better to steal a ship.
Yeah.
So I guess
Let's get
I can
bastard.
go up on with the eagle with the bombs, and we'll have Zezel steal the ship.
next thing, I did read that the carrying capacity for the giant eagle is 480.
480 pounds.
Yeah, so I guess I could carry 2 people if you guys want to do that. But
So the bombs will be 110 pounds. I am. What am I? 150.
And Zezel's probably less than 100.
So yeah, you can hold all 3 of us.
Two.
yeah.
Okay.
But if we wanted to either try and steal a ship, light them on fire, then we could have maybe a small party of people on a ship and start shooting the cannons, or we just want to scrap that completely and just light one on fire, try to steal it as a distraction, and then maybe cut off all those guards from the city completely if there's a way to destroy the gate, maybe, or
as you guys are kind of all having this conversation, I imagine that this conversation is kind of taking place with the party as well as some of the others. And at this, Karek pops up and says, "What if you stole a ship and then, or perhaps used your second ship that you have and put the cannons on it, stuck it out in the bay, and had basically to draw forces out of the bay, to draw them out into the open sea, and to draw some of the forces away, and then have your eagles come in and rain bombs over top of the forces as they're leaving the bay, which would cause enough chaos and distraction for another smaller party of you to sneak in from land and be able to try to infiltrate."
alongside with the elves. I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. All right. And at this, Althea pipes up and says, "I'm still waiting to hear back from Amon. I reached out the best I could. I don't know if he heard me, but hopefully he has, and hopefully he will lend us his aid as well." Yeah, I'll say that if there's nothing else, that you guys spend the rest of your evening just kind of finalizing and tweaking the last bits of your plan. Who all do you think would be going in the stealth party that's going inside to try to actually do the main fighting while everything else is going on outside?
I assumed after I dropped the bombs, Vinkin would drop me off somewhere so I could do some fighting.
Okay. So after you two kind of drop the bombs, you guys, the three of you, can rendezvous with the rest of the stealth party and make your entrance, kind of thing.
Yeah, that
Okay.
would be.
Okay. All right. So you guys have a plan. You guys spend the rest of the evening kind of tweaking, finalizing it, all of those sorts of things. And as you make your way back to the ship that evening to bed down for the night, you guys take your new cannons and the ammunition and everything, get it loaded up onto the new ship. Are you guys putting it onto the Jimi Hendrix then?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you guys make make the ships ready and spend the evening doing that. So next morning, the party is. By the way, that evening, as you guys are bedding down, is there anything in particular that any of you guys would be doing, in preparation or anything for the battle ahead?
The only thing I would really be doing is praying to Calypso.
Okay. I imagine you're not the only one. I imagine a few prayers go up to Calypso that the night before the battle. And yeah, so real quick, I'm gonna pause here. How much longer you guys really can play? I could probably go to 2:30 at the latest, but if you guys want, we can go ahead and call it here and then pick up next session with the attack of Kathir.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down either way. It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Then that's what we will do. We will start next session. I would like to try, if we can, to plan for next session to be a little bit longer. If you guys can maybe play to like 3 or 4, I'm gonna try to make myself available, because the next session is going to be combat heavy and is going to be a lot of shit to get through. In one session, you guys know how combat goes. So
Yeah.
so yeah, for this session, you guys didn't earn much XP. Maybe 1,000 at most for gathering the help of the different tribes. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna call it for today. You guys have now learned the ultimate, well, at least a good portion of the ultimate plot that the Amari are after, and have your objectives. So next weekend, guys, is everybody free for next